Here with me in the studio is Mr. Daniel Attoh Agroh. He is the chairman of the Association of Road Contractors here in Ghana. Mr. Agroh, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for your time.
Pleasure meeting you too, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Indeed. So is that really all there is to it? Is it simply that government doesn't pay you and so you don't finish the work?
That's the real problem. You've stated it very well. This has been happening for the last, I should say, 10 years. A lot of changes have been made in our contract to suit the current dispensation. Now contractors have to depend on banks in order to execute government projects. And so as the banks get tired of loaning to us, because we are not paying regularly, the project stalled, and then everything becomes what we call shoddy work.
Right.
Because you are not going according to the procedure you have to do. Because every project has got a timeline and everything in terms of quality control and cost. So all this is run amok, and then you realize that you cannot do the project, to have a value for money.
Right. So, I mean, take me through a typical scenario. What sort of delays are we talking about here? So you get a contract from government.
Yes.
Take me through a typical contract lifespan.
Before going on that, I want to congratulate the government on the start of the new Sino Hydro project,
right,
which the sword is being cut today by the president. And I want to remind them that they promised local content of 30%.
Yeah. And
we are looking forward for that.
Okay.
That we should be given 30% of whatever is coming in, so that we can learn from it in technology transfer. The Chinese, they come, they do the work and leave. And when there are problems, we are called upon to do the maintenance. We want to be part of it this time. Yes. In every contract, there are about 5 main parts of the contract. One, the general conditions, which are prepared by the technocrats. And in doing this, they study the road. They have to study the road and then give you some sort of drawings, just like building. So they give you adequate drawings because we are fighting against weather and whatnot, where there should be drains, where there should be culverts, where there should be other things, where they have to line the DC with pavements and whatnot. So all these things are done and put in a document which is called a contract document. We were used to the FIDIC contract procedures, which is the international thing. But Ghana has tempered with that contract document. They're saying that now it's creating the problem we're having right now. Instead of 30 days payment period, they made it 90 days. Even the 90 days is gone to over 2 years, in some cases 3 years, 4 years. I can tell you that 2012 interim certificates are standing right now with the road fund. So it's just lack of adherence to contract management that is creating the problems.
So they give you the contract, you start work, and then the payments or disbursements don't come at the times they should.
Exactly.
So what this does to the construction process is that I'm guessing there are timelines for every stage of your construction. And so you are supposed to perhaps lay a certain surface and then within maybe 48 hours lay another surface, and the payment doesn't come, you can't lay the next surface.
You give them a program. The program is timed according to the technology we are using. And then, apart from the program, there's a cash flow that's accompanying it, which controls the cost. And then from there, there's quality control. So all these three major things should give you a quality job. The final finish will be very, very well done. But then, we don't follow all these things. You go and borrow money from the bank, you start the project, probably you are done about 20 to 30%. Then you issue the first interim certificate. Probably you have cleared the road, formed the road, done the sub-base. Then you apply for payment, because government has not given you anything. Because that has been stopped about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So then you have to wait sometimes a whole year before that payment comes. Meanwhile, you cannot close the road.
Why not?
Because that is everybody's right of way.
But it's not yet completed.
It's not completed, but then you cannot close it. Unlike building where you can sort of close the area and not be used.
I want to understand the technical reason why you cannot close it. Or is it simply because we are pandering to public demand?
You see, the road is access to so many places.
Yes, but it's under construction.
It's under construction unless you provide a bypass. Alternative route. You can never close the road.
Okay.
So the road is being used meanwhile. And when you stop the work, for the time you're waiting for payment, people will want to use the road. And then the fine material and everything will be going.
I get this. And that is what I'm trying to tackle. So just bear with me.
Yes.
So when you are given a project to construct a road, generally the expectation is that there will be an alternative route for the period of your construction.
Not
generally.
Not always.
Okay.
Except there is, like when you are doing a culvert which cuts across the road.
Yeah.
Then you provide an alternative route.
But other than that,
other than the main road,
at a time.
You do half, and then you move to the other side.
Right.
But then you yourself, you leave a road for about 6 months. They will remove all the barriers that you put on the road.
So let's say you've done your sub-base. I heard you use the term and I picked it up. You've done your sub-base. And so you're now ready to do the next level, but the money hasn't come. At that point, this road is not complete.
It's not complete.
It's not fit for use.
It's not fit for actual use in the terms of the contract.
Yes. But how about health and safety? Is it fit for use in those terms?
Yes, you see, at that level, the road is smooth.
Okay.
Only that there will be so much dust. So people who use it might have problems, breathing problems. I've had this happen in Takwan. People are complaining that because the road is just a gravel road, they're having problems with breathing.
So if you allow the general public onto a road that is not yet completed, are you not invalidating whatever warranty is supposed to come with the work that you're doing?
That's the problem. You see, if you compare the works being done by contractors who have foreign-based finance projects with those on GOG, you see a very huge difference. Very huge difference. Because one, the payment is in 30 days. So you can program and with your cash flow and accordingly receive the payment. Because one, the administrative distance is very, very short. Immediately the project engineer, the site signs, the only administrative letter is attached to it and sent to the respective agency that is controlling AFD or the World Bank or anything. But in our case, you have about 33 signatures. The administrative distance is so long, apart from the payment period being very long also. So there are so many things that add to what our problem in the construction industry. It's not only that the contractor doesn't want to do the work, but then the problems are just too numerous for us to.
And basically, everything is pointing to delays in payments as the real cause of bad roads.
Exactly.
So you construct it halfway, people use it when they shouldn't, and then potholes start forming. Can you educate us on, scientifically, what causes potholes?
What causes potholes mainly is, one, the rain. And then you are supposed to compact to a certain level. No matter how much you compacted the road, after use for a certain period, like gravel roads, after 6 to 1 year, they have to be reshaped again. And that there will be potholes. But that's why we call the maintenance this era. But then if it is not done and it's allowed to stay 2-3 years, the whole road will be potholes. On tarred roads, that's the black district.
Yeah.
If it's properly done, at least for 2, 3, 4 to 5 years, there should be any pothole. But because one, there is defect in the process, you have not done all the process according to time. I mentioned time as one of the controls.
Yeah.
So one, the road has failed right from the time you are putting even the bitumen. Although you have the compacting test and it's correct. The material that is there, you allowed it to stay for too long.
Yeah.
The material deteriorates with the vehicles driving on it, and the rainfall, the dust, rainfall, the fine material is going. So by the time you apply the bitumen, and mind you, immediately you issue a certificate, the work to that level is certified.
Right.
You can't go back to claim anything. You can't go back to claim anything. So you see that when it happens like that, it's like cutting corners. Because one, you're not going to be paid anything again. There's a road at Lekman. That road has gone almost to the tarring level. It's been allowed, and it's a complete thing now. But then, if the contractor is paid and is supposed to come back to that thing, ask myself, how is this road going to be in future? I don't think it will last even 6 months.
Well, so at this point, I mean, what's the way forward? Would you suggest that if government doesn't have the funds to construct a road, they shouldn't even start?
That is our issue with government. You see, as an association, we believe that the complaints they made at the beginning of the year, that there were about 15 billion workload outstanding when they took over, with so much in terms of even outstanding certificates. When they reduce it to 4.5 billion, they should have at least done a certain amount of that work. Because when you look at the budget line, how much provision are made for it? 1.6 billion a year. And then you have an outstanding of 4.2. How do you pay a bottleneck? How do you pay that? That's the question you should ask yourself.
Let me ask about supervision, because obviously the government hires consultants to do supervision of the work that you contractors do. Tell me about the supervision. How hands-on are they?
That's a real problem. You see, earlier in the morning, I was on a program and I was saying that contract administration in this country is very poor. Poor in terms of administration, because one, the government is not able to pay for the contractor. And mind you, some of the projects has the administration money included in the contract. Like the vehicle, the maintenance of the engineer's vehicle, maintenance of engineer's offices, and so are included in the contract. So if it's not paid, how would the engineer go to the site to do the supervision? How would the material people go to supervise that the correct material is being used 24 hours? So these are all lapses in the system. If we can go back and start proper contract administration, all these problems will not be there. Even shoddy work, if it's done, there's provision in the contract already to take care of it. Because one, in the contract, you are provided the performance board.
Yeah.
Performance board states that you will do the work as it's handed over to you, and at the end of it, handed over to the client. And apart from that, there is a retention amount for every certificate issued, which is an amount reserved for maintenance period. So until the maintenance period, you can never access the money. So there is a complete decision for the government or the client over shoddy works. But if you look at it, the contract, apart from interest that he can apply for, the deterioration in the currency and whatnot, currency loss, is not provided for. So it's a real dilemma for contractors, you see.
Well, I mean, this is clearly not a problem that we can solve in one day, but at the very least, you can leave us with some recommendations, I hope.
Yes. I said, one, contract administration should be encouraged and adhered to strictly. And then the award of projects. You see, we are pandering to the demands of everybody without considering how much we have. The president or politicians go to a district, the chief says, oh, we want a road here, without even considering that, oh, this road has been studied, there's adequate drawings on it. Oh, award that project. All those things should stop. And we should look at how much we have. You see, in Tanzania, when I went there to study their road fund, this thing, when a road is awarded, at least 50% of the money is given to the board. 50% is given to the board before the project is started. They hear anything because the government is not paying any mobilization in advance. Any project goes on. The Kodak takes it. We are very greedy also. I should say we are very greedy. It takes it, they start about 30%, and then the work stops. If you look at 2017, 2018 projects awarded, go and check how much performance has been done. Most of them are between 30, 40.
Now, I'm going to ask you this just before you go. Very quickly, we'll have a yes or no, plus perhaps one sentence explanation if possible. I did some research and I found that there are some contractors, obviously not all of them, some contractors who connive with government officials. So they do the work and they actually allow government to owe them because you are able to charge interest after a certain period of time if the payments don't come through. And some people, through that, perhaps might take a 1 million cedi contract and turn it into a lifelong paying, lucrative paying arrangement.
Kojo, I don't think it will be in the interest of the contractor in this country where the cedi is depreciating at this sort of rates. As I said, immediately you issue the interim certificate, the only thing you can charge against government is interest. So you are losing the value of your money. Will you allow yourself to lose all that money, the value of money? We done the project at a time when the cedi was about 2.5 or 2.8, and we were paid in January this year. Look at the amount of money we lost.
Yeah.
It's true we are going to apply for delay in payment. But then how much is it going to give to us?
Indeed.
When is that delay in payment going to be paid?
I can see your frustration. Thank you for that, by the way. Thank you so much, Mr. Agroh.